Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our channel. If this is your first, if you're a virgin to our channel, we have the wonderful Ginger Bailey. Her information is in the description box. And we have my son Eric in the afterlife who's going to help us because we couldn't directly interview these entities because it's dangerous. So Eric is just going to answer questions for us. The topic is the Hat Man and other shadow people, or maybe the Hat Man is the type of shadow people person. So are we ready, Eric? And I love you, by the way.
Yeah, he's ready. He's going like this. And he says, I love you, mama. And then I look over and he's doing like shadow puppet. Like, the shadow
Oh
puppets.
yeah, right.
The shadow, he's doing like shadow puppets. Like, you see the outline on the wall.
Cool.
He always catches me off guard like that. Like I'll like look over and he's like doing something like goofy.
Of course. Just to throw you off. Actually, I
Yeah.
have my sister, your Aunt Terry, wants me to ask you a question. When she was a kid, she saw this black shadow lady with a tall pointed hat. And, she wants to know what was that and why did she come there while I was sleeping? And she also pulled on Terry's foot. Why?
So here's the thing. He says this was a shadow. This was a shadow person. Okay. And what he says is that, like, especially with kids, how kids are more open,
Yeah.
to things. They're more open, and then these things are drawn to them because they're easier to scare.
Yeah.
There we have more of a block sometimes. Yeah, we can be scared, but not as easy as a child. And that's some of the things that they feed on, is fear.
Yeah.
Fear is a big one. There's other things that we'll talk about, but fear is a big one. So yes, it was a shadow person, and it was just messing with her. It was
Yeah,
messing with
so pulling the foot was just to scare her.
her. Yes.
Okay. But could it have hurt her?
No, they can't like physically hurt you,
Okay.
but they're very good at, like, depending on the person. Okay, they're very good at manipulation and maybe like convincing you to do things to yourself. But that's a whole
Yeah. Or
whole thing
confuse
of,
you so you
yeah,
trip down the stairs. I can imagine.
right. And Eric's wanting to he's wanting to make sure that people know that this is not to put fear out to anybody. This is for awareness and
Yes.
understanding, and just to know and understand that it is there and what it is.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
interesting
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah,
guys.
it is.
There
It
are
is.
other dimensions, people, and
Yeah.
there's no denying that. And
Right.
scientists recently, like in the last couple of years, verified that there are multiple dimensions. Um, y'all put in the comment sections if you had a similar experience that my
Yeah.
sister had, but also if you had experience similar to what I'm going to share as my own experience. I was little, lying in bed the wrong way, looking out the window, and all of a sudden there was this clown like figure looking in the window, and I scared the crap out of me. Was that just my imagination? I felt like I was awake, but
No, that's another thing that Eric says these things can do. They are shadow people. You see them mostly in shadows, but they also can be like shape shifting, where maybe the shadow changes shape, or they can, do other things to bring fear to you. Maybe look like a spider, or, something that is going to bring fear. Anything they can do to get that fear.
Yeah, like
out of you.
some people have this thing about clowns. They have this creepy side to them. But anyway, we'll go on with the other
Yeah.
questions. What are shadow people? Are they people who have passed away, or are they people living in another dimension? I love my peeps. They ask the best questions. I love you guys. God.
So Eric's showing me, he's showing me a couple different things. First, he's showing me the energy. So you know how we're energy outside of our body, right? When we don't have the physical. So we're energy. These are different things. Some are earthbounds that never crossed. Okay. And some are like of other like beings. There are other beings, like you could call alien. There are some alien beings, but they're in spirit, not physical alien. Okay, that do this, and then some are like beings that never like really lived like in a physical body, but not demonic, but some that like are just different beings. It's they're like from different dimensions, you know, like how Bigfoot's from a different
interdimensional.
yeah, interdimensional, right. And then you know how we have like we have astral plane and we have the physical plane.
Yeah.
A lot of these exist in the astral plane, and then whatever I think there's like a lower plane below the astral plane. He's just showing me like below. He keeps saying below the astral plane. A lot of them exist, but they can move. And then he says, so then it's just the light like we are, but they will show themselves as like the shadow figure or the hat man. Okay. Things like that. They will also their frequency is so close to like the physical. Okay.
Oh, that's why we can see them.
Right. And so they're easier to feel. It's the feeling they bring too. He says it's not just seeing them, and I'm getting chills right now. He says it's the Erik. He's like he's showing me this feeling, and it's like it's just chills in you, and the hair on the back of my neck is standing up right now. Wow. And these are feelings that they bring to you, and it's to feed on the fear, of course. But some of the things that will happen with people, and I this is just real quick, is there people that are either more open than others, or you know they're having like a lower vibration mood levels on a constant basis. So
well, they feed on fear. What if they didn't have fear to feed on? Would they cease to exist?
Right. So he's naming off things like hate, anger, revenge, vengefulness, jealousy. You know, someone who lives in that state constantly, not just like a few minutes, but constant state. Fear are more likely to see these things more or be affected by them. They can't affect you. They can't physically hurt you, but they can make you, do things sometimes. Now,
cause an addiction, for example.
Right. Encourage it. Yep. Encourage it to continue, make it hard to get out of. They just kind of hold you in that state. They can hold you in that state. You do have free will though. And he's saying that these things will happen too, because we have to have, the variety of feeling different energies, to teach us to find our inner strength and realize, hey, I'm stronger, because anything in the physical is stronger than something in spirit. So it's about finding our inner strength to, fight this off. If it's somebody that this happens to. And possession, he wants to talk about possession real quick, is something that is very, very, very rare, but does happen. And most of the time it's a contract, like it's decided ahead of time, they're going to go through this, and people do learn from this. I think there's been some stories, like movies they've made, like that Annalisa person. So he's saying that this happens because there's something to learn. Of course, everything that we experience is to learn from and grow from. But these things don't actually possess you, but they can attach and affect you. Oh, they don't get inside of you. Yeah, right. Okay, right. But most of the time, they're going to do it from a distance. It's also rare for them, to attach, but it does happen more so than
change your personality.
Yeah,
when they attach like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I'm wondering, Erik, if Terry and I had those experiences because we suffered such child abuse, so we were kind of chronically in a state of fear. When we heard the garage door opening, we would hide behind furniture. It was that bad. So was that why we had these experiences?
It is. It's part of it. It's part of it. The trauma. Yeah, Erik just said trauma. Trauma can bring it on. One thing he says this is interesting, that children have an extra protection for them. Oh, good. Like, archangels, angels, their guides. There's a little extra protection because they're more open. So they do have that protection over them without asking for it. So when they do see things or things, scare them, or try to come near them, it's not for very long, unless again it's a contract and they're supposed to be learning something,
Yeah.
or maybe learning to get strong, because maybe they're meant to be a psychic medium or something. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Oh,
put like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But most of the time they're protected and they will get help right away. They have things around them that protect them.
Okay. Plus, you're right. We have free will. Like I remember, I picked up my dowsing rods and started using them without saying the protection, and immediately thought, "Oh God, what did I do?" And
Oh,
that night, there's this black, wispy, ghosty thing with red eyes going around my bedroom and just coming up to my face, and I was so frightened. And I said, "Get the fuck out of here!" And it left. But
yeah.
you
You
can
have
do
the
that.
power. You do. You have the power for it. And you have to believe. There are people that don't believe they have this power.
Yeah,
And these things want that. They want you to think you don't have the power, but you
of
do.
course.
You're strong enough to get it out of there. And then he just said, if not, there's people that are, like Nora with the angels are healing,
Yeah,
or I think Michelle, does Courtney do it too, where they do healings and
yeah, probably.
detachments?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. And he also said Reiki. There's some Reiki healers out there that do this.
awesome.
Yeah, that actually run Reiki to help people clear it.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, why do they come to us? What's the reason? Is it in our soul contract? What message is in the visit? Did we answer all of that, or do you want to add to that?
Um, it is a little answer here. He says that it is in the contract, but it's also there are reasons behind this. We do have to have this, he says. If we have fearful things, then we learn, how not to fear.
Yeah.
Just like you have, hate, so love, and
Oh,
versa
the
versa.
contract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there are things like that are reasons for it too. But a lot of times, most of the time, they're just there and they're drawn to certain things like emotions that you're having,
Yeah.
or but again, he says it's long term too. Oh, he also just said, um, okay, so there's residual that will cause this, like a residual, like something traumatic that happened that put residual energy somewhere can
Yeah.
cause like an individual entity, kind of like we can create our own like
Negative entities?
poltergeist. Huh?
Oh, like negative entities?
Yeah, like they're negative
Yeah.
entities. And so what he's saying is, though, that the residual energy of something happening can actually bring these things in, or it can also be something
It
like
can
that. Like it can make its
transform
own. Yeah, right,
into a
right.
poltergeist or whatever.
Right. Just like, people can create with their strong emotions. If they're strong enough for a long enough time, you can create your own poltergeist, around you.
Wow. Oh,
That PK energy that they call it. So,
interesting.
yeah.
All right, so what can we do if we just moved into a house and you feel like there's been, maybe there's been some trauma or whatever there? What can you do? I mean, I understand that you can use sage to clean the energy, but then Palo Santo afterwards. But what do you recommend?
Anything that's going to raise the vibration, because they're not attracted to higher vibrations. And Eric goes, so you can't really be mean to somebody who's being nice to you. You can't like pick on it. I mean, you can try, but you're not going to be very successful because
Yeah.
they're not responding, they're not reacting. So if we don't react or respond in in negative ways to things, if we don't, like if we have higher vibration, the house has a higher vibration,
Yeah.
then it's not going to want to stick around.
Okay. And you can just
So,
tell them leave. You don't
right,
belong here.
right,
So
right.
wait, I don't
Exactly,
remember if you
exactly.
answered. I don't remember if you answered the question. What if they have nothing to feed on? There's nothing. Sorry, the
Right.
carpets are bare. No fear here.
Yeah, that's the same thing what we were just saying. If your vibration's up and you're not responding to it or giving it anything, so it's like if
Well, do they die? Do they
it,
cease to exist?
no, they move on. No,
I figured it. Yeah.
energy can never not exist.
Okay,
It's never created or
I got it.
destroyed. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Are they dark or of light? And what was their visit? The purpose of their visit. Now I understand that everything is light, but there's the very bottom of the spectrum, which is barely light. And of course, there's the other, which is the opposite. Are they still in light since there's nothing but light, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, they're part of the whole spectrum. They're part of the whole spectrum.
Okay.
Okay. So, but he also just said that there are some that aren't like nefarious, that aren't like
Oh,
looking like you might see a shadow, but it's just like it could just be a regular earthbound, but not
yeah, it
out
could
to
be one of
like
your deceased relatives, right?
right. Well, yeah, more so an earthbound though, more
Okay,
than
got it.
earthbound, because yeah, someone who has not crossed over could just be a regular wandering. That's what he said it like that, a wandering earthbound, someone who's just wandering, like
Okay.
lost but they're not looking to feed on something. They're just kind of lost, and you're gonna feel. That's why the feeling of it is important. He said you're gonna feel the difference. You're gonna
Yeah.
feel like. You may feel a little like if you're a strong empath, you might feel a little bit of the sadness or something that this
Yeah.
thing has, but not that they're
Okay.
trying to do it to you.
Okay.
Okay. But the others are, out to do that, trying
Okay.
to bring fear out in you.
Now let's talk about the Hat Man. Is there only one Hat Man, or are there multiple?
There's one. There's one.
Oh, okay. Well, he
Um,
gets around.
yeah, well, Eric's everywhere,
I know that's
God's
true.
everywhere, but this is still a shadow person. He just
Right.
That's his shape, that's his form.
Mm.
Erik is showing me like no face, kind
Yeah.
of creepy, no face, just shadow, like and shadow people he's showing me has like sometimes they'll have like a little bit of feature.
Yeah.
Also sometimes you'll see like you were talking about, Lisa, he's talking about there might be red or yellow
Yeah.
eyes or even white eyes like in the dark.
Yeah.
um he
Oh,
says, and
I've seen
again, that's
photos
to
of
bring,
that. Yeah.
yeah, he said that again, that's to bring fear out.
Yeah.
He says that again, one thing to know though, and maybe this could help for people that fear this, that they don't really look like this in spirit.
Okay.
They are light like us.
Yeah.
You were asking that question a minute ago, if they're light. They are like a spiritual light like we are, maybe not as bright, but they're portraying this shadow. That's how they
That's what they
portray.
project.
Yeah, they project. And then the Hat Man actually causes that on purpose, the way he comes across. And that's just his form. That's what he chooses
Okay.
to show himself as. It's almost like a celebrity in a way, Erik said.
Oh,
Me, they know
got a
me this
costume
way.
on.
Yeah, this is how they know me. This is, the more you know something like that, the maybe scarier it is, when it has like a identity of an identity,
Yeah.
you know?
And also, it probably gives confirmation. Wait a minute. When I was a kid, I saw something just like that. And that makes people think, well, it does exist, so I should be afraid.
Right, right,
Okay,
right.
so why doesn't he communicate? Maybe it's just because he don't got no voice box. I don't know.
Well, no, they don't have voice boxes, but the thing is that
Maybe they can communicate telepathically. Sorry.
they do, but they communicate with emotion. That's
Yeah.
why you can you feel these feelings, these different feelings. Also, this is something I guess connected to sleep paralysis. Erik just said.
Yes, yes, I've heard that.
Yeah, he
What is
just
that? What is that connection about?
So that is something that actually so he's saying that when somebody is in what is this? This is the how you have the alpha, theta, delta, REM,
Yeah.
the sleep, different sleep levels. So he's saying that between, I think this is the delta and the deep sleep, the REM,
Okay.
you get like this certain openness to you because your mind is kind of separate than your soul. We don't like sleep, our spirit sleep kind of like hovering outside a little bit. It's a more of a connection is how he's saying it. There's more of a where you'll notice it even more, and they feel more empowered by taking control of this in a way. They're not taking away your free will, because you do have free will. You can find your strength and get out of it. But
are you talking about the paralysis?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but they like this. They like the fact that, there's some kind of, they feel like they have control. They
What
like
do
that
they
feeling.
cause the paralysis, or is that just a bodily thing that happens when
It's
you
a
drift between phases?
Yeah, it's a bodily thing. It's a bodily
And you're
thing.
just maybe more
Okay.
aware of it.
Right. And they come in at this time and they take advantage. Okay. That's the word I was looking for, Eric. Thank you. They take
Okay.
advantage of it. They don't actually cause it, but they
Yeah.
take advantage. And that's why usually everybody sees this, in paralysis. They'll see something like a shadow person or the hat man, or I know there's other ones that I've heard, like
Oh yeah, we're going to
witch.
talk about those.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, doctors and scientists say, well, that's sleep paralysis, and sometimes it comes with hallucinations. But no. Uh,
Yeah, they have to write it off because there's no scientific proof of shadow
yeah.
people, Eric said.
So they can't telepathically communicate in thoughts. It's all emotion, right?
They could,
You
they
need to
could.
go. You need to go kill one of your chickens or whatever.
Right, yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
but
that's the part like when you're actually not the sleep paralysis, but the actual awake, when there are people that have attachments. Once they get attached, they can, Eric said,
oh,
attachment. So
oh,
once they're
okay.
like connected to you, not inside of you, because it's a big difference,
Yeah,
taking over your whole body, but just kind of attached, where it's kind of like that. He keeps showing me, like, you got the little guy on your shoulder whispering in your
yeah,
ear, kind of
yeah.
thing.
The angel and the devil.
Yeah.
Okay, does he only appear when someone is beginning the death process of the body? No? Maybe that's more common. I mean, maybe he really takes advantage of the fear of starting the death process, but tell me, Erik.
Um, okay, so he's saying it is possible. It is possible to see them because you're more like in that process, in the death process, you pretty much are half in and half out. So you're seeing your loved ones. This
Yeah,
is a real thing. People see their loved ones. They are connected to the other side more because it's kind of
yeah,
like that veil is thinning. So they can see them. They can be affected by them. But again, if the vibration is up and you're not really, you know, aware, like if somebody's not aware of it, they may just think it's some shadow crossing the wall, or you know what I mean. But
yeah,
most of the time it's people that are really aware of these things
yeah.
that see them more, or get affected, not see them
Okay.
more.
But does
Thank
the
you, Eric.
Hat
Get
Man take
affected.
advantage of someone in the process of dying by visiting?
He says yes, that they will. There has been
Yeah.
incidences of this. Absolutely.
What dimension is the Hat Man in? The
This
yeah.
is the astral plane. Um, most of the time, astral plane.
Okay.
But there are lower ones. I don't know all the dimensions. I know like the higher ones. I know like the angelic, the
Yeah.
heavenly, but there are lower dimensions.
Okay.
A couple, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Is the Hat Man a manifestation caused by children's fears? Is that the only thing that creates the entity called the Hat Man? Or yeah.
Do children create this?
Yeah.
So this can be that's interesting. So this can be created on a collective.
Oh,
I mean, we do manifest a lot of things on the collective. So it was something that started with that. But it's still an individual entity, Erik says, but it's what brought it in.
so it's autonomous still. I mean, it still exists. It's not just a projection of kids' fears.
Right. No, it's not a projection of
Okay.
that,
But it
but
started that way. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
it kind of started that way to that's why like he comes in that shape.
Yeah.
Like it was just a spirit. They're all just like I just see spirit lights. He just shows me like orbs or
Okay.
spirit, light. And then the form will come in, and it shaped itself. But that's where the actual like his form came
Okay.
from, the thoughts of, and kids, you know, it's real. They really do come in. They're not imagining this. Most of the time, listen to your children, because most of the time they're really seeing something
Yeah.
when they are.
Okay. I personally, this person, feel that the Hat Man is several different manifestations. Is that true?
No, but I mean, the Hat Man is an individual, like just one. But the others, the others, shadow people
Yeah.
are multiple, is what
Oh,
Erik just said. So no to that. No to the Hat Man being more than one, if that's what they're asking. It's just
okay.
one
Okay.
entity.
Any truth to the Slender Man story? That's a creepy one. I've seen drawings of what people have seen.
This is a
That
shadow
guy's been on
person.
a diet way too long. All I can say.
This is a shadow person.
Okay. Anything?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this
This
is
is
kind of similar, and all the questions that we asked about the Hat Man would apply. Those answers
right,
would apply
right,
to the
and
Slender
yeah,
Man.
because there are some, and Erik just said that like some of them have more strength. Like again, the collective and the thoughts that people think about as an individual. So if you're thinking about a bunch of different like spirit people with the collective, okay, everybody's thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think I'm explaining this right. They're just the shadow people, right? Everyone just kind of thinks of them. They're not thinking
Yeah.
of them as an individual. You got the Hat Man and the Slender Man that have an individual identity,
Mm.
and they're a little bit stronger because they're thought about as an individual. Does that
And
make sense?
they're strong enough to create their own costume,
Right, right,
identity, appearance.
right.
Okay.
Exactly, exactly. They're a little stronger than just they're earthbound. The shadow people
Yeah.
are usually earthbound. Some of them aren't human,
Okay.
but they're stronger. They're just stronger, he says, in a way of notoriety, I
Yeah.
guess.
And that
Yeah,
makes them stronger too. The
yeah.
collective fear, I'm sure, right?
Right, right. Yeah. Yep. That's what
Okay,
he's
two
saying.
more
The
questions.
notoriety.
Two more questions, then we're going to stop. And y'all be sure you hit the notification button so you won't miss part two. There'll probably be a part three too. Are shadow figures demons?
So no to this, but a demonic energy can show itself as a shadow.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, that
But
makes sense.
usually shadow people are not demonic. No, they're not.
Okay.
Okay.
And last for this session, I've heard that shadow people are here to observe, but are not to be feared. Is that true? And a lot of people say the Hat Man, he's like standing in a corner or standing in the doorway, just looking, watching.
So some of them might be because again, these are like earthbound energies, or earthbound entities, some human, some not, some alien. So okay, so Erik is saying that the ones that don't really make a effect on you, they don't
Yeah.
affect you in a negative way, would be the ones that are just kind of to observe, okay?
Okay.
And they just portray, they're not trying to scare anybody. It just might come across that way because there have been, and I know Erik is talking about some that they have caught on tape where you see like a shadow of something go
Yeah.
by, and maybe that's not so much a shadow person. It's just it's
Earthbound.
weird we don't, yeah, like earthbound, but we don't have like a reflection, but it's kind of like that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So
All right. Gotta make sure I know where the uh pause recording. Okay, so but a lot of people say they see the Hat Man in a corner of a room.
yes,
Corner of a
yes,
room. What's he
scary.
doing there?
That's trying to scare you,
Okay.
trying to scare
All
you.
right. It's
Yeah,
like I'm stalking
yeah,
you.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. It's just a fearful
Sounds good.
thing.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, Erik. Thank you, Ginger. I can't wait to part two. It's gonna be fun,
Me
people.
too.
Check the description
Yeah.
box for everything you need to know about our sweet Ginger.
Thank
Bye.
you.